And if it wasn't crazy enough using WRX parts on this 91 Calais here, what I dealt with last year was, so this is the original strut, the innard, the top part. What I'm going to talk about right now is the strut mount. So this is the original top of the strut, and what it had originally was this spacer, umbrella type spacer. I don't know what you'd call that, but and so I had to buy these struts with the little tab on them for the FE7 suspension. These are actually for, I think, a 92 Acheiva. And that's because I couldn't find any struts for the 91 Calais. Now it's the same car, it should have been identical. Monkey wrench was, when I got it, it had this top on it. It was way shorter, so it wouldn't fit through the original mount. And that mount is right here. So basically, it had this piece slipped over it, and then this long part here went through the mount, and then you put a nut on the top, and it was fine. Well, look what happens when you put this one on that. So I kind of panicked at the time, didn't really know what to do, and then here it is, it was right in front of me. So what I did was I took the ones that came off of these, and I just cut that top part off, so that when you put that on there, now you've got about the same amount of thread engagement as that one. The only problem is this would not go in the original mount anymore. So here's the old strut mount. And if you look on the inside here, it used to go up, I don't know, higher than that, because this whole thing would slip into that part like that. And so if you imagine this being down in there, and you can see that wear mark on it, when this was in there, that was the material that was in there. Now I thought, if you see that metal in there, I thought that metal had to be sandwiched with the top plate. There's like a metal plate right there. I thought it all had to be sandwiched together. So I cut that part off so that this would be retained and would go into there and kind of squeeze it all together just for safety. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. So I took a burr bit, and as you can see, I just carved that material out of there until this fit down into there like that. And then I was able to use 91 and earlier strut mounts with a 92 and later strut. So now and the reason I did that at the time was because I had to get the car going that weekend, because it was winter time and they were already salting the roads and all that kind of thing, and I couldn't wait on getting the 92 and later strut mounts to get shipped in. So this time I've actually got some 92 and later strut mounts, which are right here. So you got this, and there's the actual bearing. Looks like that. I'm pretty sure you slip that over there, and then you take this and put that on there, and that's got the new spring insulator and all that. And so since this is a lot more like the 92 and later struts, I figured I'll try these strut mounts on there too. Pretty sure the only difference is the later ones, the thing was clocked a little bit differently. In fact, I don't know if you can see that blue strut tower bar hanging on the wall there. See how it's like the holes are in line with the bar? Well, on the Calais, the strut mount is actually clocked so that these are in line with the car, whereas the later ones are clocked so that those two bolts are in line with 90 degrees to the car. So I'm pretty sure that since this thing pivots like that so that you can steer the car, that I should be able to use these, and all that'll happen is instead of them being like that, they'll be like this, I guess. So it's an experiment. We'll see if it works. I'm not even sure how this is going to go, but now I'm going to work on trying to get these 92 and later strut mounts to work with the WRX konis, and then I'm going to install them on those struts, the strut housings, and we'll see what we got. So check that the enclosed adapter A, which is this thing right here, fits over the threads, and if not, then it's not required, etc., etc. So basically it's You may need it, you may not. And so the thing is, it doesn't fit on that shouldered part at all, but it certainly goes into this thing with room to spare. So I'm almost wondering, because all I want is something to take up the space between this and that part. And so I took one of them and just cut a slit in it, and we'll do the opposite of what Andy was saying and cut a slit in this to basically spread this apart. And if I can spread this apart to slip over this and basically take up that gap, and what it says to do, and it's kind of stupid because it doesn't even fit in there. It says it's supposed to go inside that part. Well, it doesn't even go, so you know, whatever on that. But what I'll do is I'll put it in below it right here, just as a way to take up that space, and then I'll still rely on this on top of it, nut on top of that, and go from there. So that is the latest in attempting to use these 92 and later mounts with these konies. So I'm going to see what I can come up with on that. Okay, so I'd say that worked pretty well. Just cut that with an angle grinder and then spread it out real good. And then basically what I did is I put it on top of there with the shaft sticking through the mount, and then I put a socket on the top of it, a deep well, and just hammered it, and that thing just slipped right down in there, and it's really tight. So I think that's going to be the way I'm going to do these. Pretty happy with that. So alright, let's get to it. Something about like that. Actually, no, I don't think that's on there yet. Okay, now it's not shifting around anymore, so I think that's gonna be the ticket for these. Kind of weird, but you know, that's that's the name of the game here, is making stuff work.